operations within SQS. What can you do? And this is something you can all easily do it when you are actually dealing with the either CLI or maybe just through the SDK, the code base. So what you can do, you can call the create queue, you can call the list queue, delete queue, send message method, get queue URL, and the list can go on. There are quite a few messages and operations that are available within SQS that you can easily use if you're writing a code, an application code to actually create the queue or consume the queue. All of that functionality is available through the CLI, the client interface, or command line interface, or you can actually just make an SDK call to these queues and start consuming these methods. Amazon has done a really great job in terms of making sure that all of the functionalities that are available within all of those functionalities that are available within their interface, within their AWS interface, is also equally available through the CLI and then also available through the SDK, which gives you a full flexibility of control of the services that you are consuming, that you are using on Amazon. We are heavily using it here at Quick Start, the SQS services. Our use case scenario has been where we have long batch files of user data, right? So the user needs to be created, user needs to be inserted and enrolled in the different courses, and also user emails needs to be sent out. So when you're actually registering those large number of users into the system, and that batch file is uploaded from a manager for their, let's say, 500 or 1,000 employees, you don't want the system to just spin and then have the client just wait until the whole 1,000 records has been processed. You would rather probably have that done in the offline mode, meaning that you send it across and you hope that everything is going to get processed. So we do this through the SQS. So our, the file of enrollment of the registration of the user, it could be very large. That get sent over to our, gets uploaded to our system using our quickstart.com website. Once that gets uploaded, then that file is thrown onto the batch SQS service. Then we do have a consumer at the back end, which basically picks that file up as soon as it gets dropped into the SQS service and it start processing it. Now, again, the processing includes the first time is reading the file, it's reading the records from the file, determining the size of the records inside of the file, registering all the users within the file, enrolling those users in a specific course program, and also assigning different sub-organization group for each member. So there's a lot of processing that gets done in the back end once the file gets opened up and then start processed. All of that is done by the consumer end from the SQS. So once the file gets dropped on the SQS service, then our consumer application code picks that file up and it starts processing it. Once that is done, then we know who the user was who dropped that file. We usually send an email to that user saying, hey, your file has been processed. And also we post it on their dashboard after they log in, saying the file that you uploaded has been processed, and these many records have been passed, this many record has been failed, and these are the reasons for the failures. So it gives you a very nice report for a manager when they want to see how many data has been processed and how the file was processed in terms of passes percentages versus failure percentages. All of this is possible through the SQS. Imagine if you don't have the SQS, then you have to probably take the file, then you have to write a cron job. That's one alternative, right? So you have to take the cron job, create a cron job, which basically, first of all, you take the file, you keep it somewhere on a server, and then you have a cron job, which basically comes to live every 15 minutes or whatever the frequency is, goes to the server, pick up the file, and does the processing. Now it becomes, cron jobs are good, but I think if you compare with the SQS is much more real time. You don't have to wait 15 minutes. As soon as the file gets dropped, you can actually you can start, start processing it. And also, you don't really have to set up a separate cron servers because SQS is already there within the AWS environment, so you can start taking advantage of Amazon SQS services. The other advantage is basically it's scalable, right? So you can drop hundreds and hundreds of files, and Amazon is a very robust and scalable solution. So horizontally, they would scale. So you don't have to worry about what if people start using my services a lot, and then the files that gets dropped on the SQS services increase. Then what happens? It doesn't matter because the Amazon takes care of it, where this increase horizontally, and then the SQS services are basically cope up with the demand. So these are the big advantages that keeping in mind, we have actually went into the SQS service and start processing those large files. The other case scenario that we have implemented here, quick start using the SQS, is the large images, right? So if people want, we do have a lot of courses, and courses have images. We want to process those images and attach those to the courses. So we, instead of doing those through the client server call, what we do is basically we start putting them on the SQS service, large image files, and those image files get again picked up the same process. All right. So hopefully you're getting some of the use case scenarios that would make sense, and I will actually walk you through on how to set it up on the SQS on Amazon towards the tail end of the SQS topic. But at least I want to make sure that you guys understand the use cases of SQS, the scalability of SQS on Amazon as well. The other attribute within the Amazon SQS service is long polling. Now, when you're actually your consumer, which is basically attached to your SQS service, which is actually looking and polling reading your SQS service to find out if there's a message that has been dropped that needs to be consumed. There are multiple ways of doing it. You can set a calls to queue on a periodic basis. Every 15, 20 minutes, you can make a call, and then it basically does that. You can have a call to queue in a loop, but will be costly on your server side. Instead, use a long polling. So you can have a for loop, and it constantly read through these queue and see if the message has been dropped. But again, it would be very costly on your server. The other option is to use the long polling option within the SQS. Long polling allows you that when you make a call, it can wait up to a few seconds, and wait time seconds that can be. Wait time seconds is an attribute within the SQS, and that wait time seconds would be used when it's actually making a call to the SQS service. It waits for that period of time to see if a message has been come or not. So for example, you come to a door and ring a bell, and then how long would you wait until you say, okay, nobody's home? So that's kind of a similar analogy where you want to wait until 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever that is, before you say, oops, okay, there's no message, now I'm going to go back. So this allows you that flexibility of instead of making constant loops and calls, you can actually easily wait for that second. So let's say if you ring a bell and you just walk away, and the person answering the door just came out, and while you missed him, right? So this way there might be a message that is being dropped. So you say, okay, well, wait until 10, 15 seconds or whatever that is, until you go out, say, okay, no message is there, and then I'm going to come back again after 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or whatever that is. There is always a possibility you will probably miss that window where there's a message that is being dropped on the queue. But again, having this long polling and having that wait time seconds until you go back and say, wait for another half an hour, 40 minutes before I make another call, it becomes very handy, and that is provided as a long polling attribute within Amazon SQS services. So I found it very, very useful.